everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Energy Hub. The Energy Hub is the place to come to hear organic business conversations. Organic business conversations. So it's not just going to be the average dude today. We've got 7 fantastic folks backstage, business professionals that do a wide variety of things. And we're gonna learn about the world of landscaping. The world of landscaping. We've got Chris Harrell with Veterans Landscaping. He's going to be kind of the star of the show today. And we're going to meet these great business owners and professionals, and then we're going to have a great discussion. So to get things started, let's introduce our first guest. And I think I'm going to go with Vicki Watts with My 360 Benefits. Good morning, Vicki, and welcome back to the Hub.
Good morning. How are you today?
Doing fantastic. Let me ask you this before we introduce our next person. You've been participating in a few energy hubs. What is it that you enjoy about these conversations?
That they're real, that nobody's trying to pitch what they do. They're just having real conversations with people that they'd like to get in a room with to understand their business and what they do and who they are, most importantly.
Absolutely. Sales is a lot about service, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Our next guest is going to be Mr. Douglas DJ Neubauer with Eldeco. Mr. Safety himself is in the house. DJ, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Looking good.
Morning. Thank you. Thank you. First time on the Hub as a panel member. Excited to be here.
Well, hey, we always appreciate your comments when we're doing these in the past, and you've got a lot of business experience, so we're going to learn more about that here in just a little bit. But first, I would like to introduce my next guest, and that's going to be Mr. Brendan Lopes with Multiply Tech. Good to have you back, man.
Yes, great to be back on the Hub. Thank you, Daniel. Hey, Vicki. Hey, DJ.
Hey, good to see you.
Hey, Brandon.
Great.
Long time no see.
Yeah. Hey, and then our next guest is a business owner, the owner of Pro Cuts Lawn Care, someone that I've gotten to know over the last year or so. Y'all are gonna be fascinated by his story and all the great things that Mr. Angel Ellis is doing. Angel, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Angel, can you hear me?
I can't hear. There's no sound on my end.
Oh,
I don't know if anybody can hear me.
We can.
Yeah, we can hear you. So hopefully you're going to get a little sound here, because we'd love to learn and talk to you a little more. So we knew we'd have a few technical difficulties. That's okay. We're going to work it out. So our guest today, joining us today, is the driving force behind Veterans Landscaping and Construction, a man who traded 8 years of military service for a single lawnmower in 2007 and systematically engineered it into one of the upstate South Carolina's premier outdoor construction empires. From the rugged terrain of Lake Hartwell to the luxury backyards of Greenville, he has built a reputation on military-grade precision, vertical integration, and a lead from the front philosophy that sees him in the trenches with his crew as often as he is in the boardroom. Please welcome the owner and visionary behind a true American success story, Chris Harrell.
Hey,
Chris, can you hear
me?
We got you.
I can't hear any of y'all.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I hear you now, loud and clear.
Oh, beautiful.
You there?
Yeah.
Right
Thanks,
on.
Vicki, for the help.
Hey, you're welcome.
Hello?
Okay, great. Hey, Vicki, what did you tell Angel that got his audio working?
Hey, first level tech.
Whenever you put me in backstage, for some reason, I can't hear anything anymore.
Oh, wow. Hold on 1 second. Let's just see. Hate that. Let's see if that comes back around. But I tell you what, while Chris is working on that, let's circle back to Vicki Watts and tell us a little bit about what you do, Vicki.
Well, apparently I do first level tech too. So
Okay.
yeah, tech
You there?
No.
Hey, I can hear you, Chris. I don't know if you can hear
Hello?
me.
Chris, can you hear us?
I could listen before earlier and I could hear everything really good earlier. And it's not changing, it's cutting in and out.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe
you are.
the,
There you are.
Okay. Wireless mic.
Can you hear me now?
yeah,
I can't hear you guys again.
I hate that. Well, sometimes tech issues kind of get away from us, and that's part of doing things live. But we love the live organic conversation. So Chris is on mute right now. Yeah. Hey Chris, I'm gonna drop you down here. If you can hear us, let me know, and y'all keep an eye on Chris for me, and we'll bring him back up. But let's circle back, and we'll talk a little bit more about some of the other things that we've got going here. Vicki, tell us a little bit about My 360 Benefits and some of the things that the folks you like to talk to.
Oh, the folks I like to talk to are in the small to mid-size range businesses that don't necessarily get the attention of large companies. So I was in that large space from 5,000 to 40,000 multi-site, multi-state group benefits area and project management. And I wanted to bring that to small to medium-sized companies, the kind of attention, the kind of benefits packages. You know, when you're in that small to medium-sized space, a lot of times you just get what you get and don't throw a fit kind of thing. Like I told my kids, but what people really want is a strong retention and attraction strategy so that they can get a leg up in the talent pool when attracting top quality talent. So, you know, they want that. They want that payroll deduction, but they want a rich benefits package without breaking the bank too.
Absolutely. Everybody wants that. We want as much benefits as we can get, but we don't want to break the bank. That sounds pretty fair. I bet Angel experiences the same thing when people are wanting things done with their yard, right? Angel, everybody wants a fantastic job at the best price possible. Oh no, we don't have audio. That's going to make things a challenge.
Oh, now he said he couldn't hear me. So, you know, it's tech. It happens.
I tell you what, we may have to punt today, but sometimes that happens. I tell you what, we're gonna punt. I'm gonna go ahead and get through some of these folks, and let's talk. And let's just see where this goes. But we may have to punt while we get the tech issues resolved. Brendan Lopes, let's talk a little bit about Multiply Tech. Man, it's been so great getting to know you, learning more about Multiply Tech. You and Josh have created something really fantastic there. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. Well, both Josh and I, our careers started in finance and accounting. So we kind of saw the come up in the world of those types of roles, management consulting. And what we realized is that at the core of every business, yes, you need a great product or service. Yes, you need a great team. And you need great benefits, right, Vicki, to get the right team. But you also need the right tech. Like, great tech is non-negotiable in today's world to build the company that not only can scale to the level that people want, but that can create the lifestyle that founders actually want. And so, Daniel, we get really passionate about helping innovative founders and business leaders. It sounds a little marketing to say it this way, but we like to say, like, we build technology solutions that disrupt industries and transform companies, because that's what we're all about. We want to help companies get tech doing what tech should do so that their people can do what only people do. So whether that's custom software, mobile apps, web platforms, we can certainly build ground up solutions that fit to a specific business. Typically, those are larger projects. So that's where someone's looking to build a product-based company or build a custom software solution for their business. Probably the much more common solution that we see, Daniel, is on the strategic consulting side. We help companies to really audit and optimize their existing technology stack. Everyone wants to figure out how to use AI right now. So a lot of times they just need an off-the-shelf product that has AI built in to help level up their team And, if they have teams of 20, 30, 50, 100 people, if you can help every team member be 20% more effective by getting tech to help out, that's massive gains for the company that let you go way farther with fewer team members. And I think that's what everyone's looking to do.
Absolutely. And a lot of times folks don't know maybe what's possible, right? Like you might have a business owner and he may be covered up and he's got stress and he doesn't know that these solutions are out there. And so he needs someone like you to kind of come in and help him figure out what he can do. Don't it?
It's 100% true. Tech is a lot like the construction space, Daniel. That's the analogy we always give. So a lot of times, I like to tell people we're building custom homes here. It's not like cookie cutter, like, hey, here's 5 houses to choose from. Like on the custom side of the house, it's hey, like I want a 5-bedroom, 5-bath house on Lake Kiwi. And there's a whole process that goes into that. You certainly can't skip the architecture phase. And it's funny, Daniel, because to your point, sometimes people don't even know everything. It's kind of like, hey, just bring your wife's Pinterest board. Let's start there, right? Let's start with all these things you've seen, and then let's work backwards to engineer the plan to figure out how do we build that dream house. And but also, like in the business world, how do we do it economically? How do we design a situation where we put $1 in the vending machine to get $10 out and build a roadmap that's going to fit the business use case? So yes, to your point, sometimes they might have seen angles in other industries of what is possible, and they need us to bring that to life for their industry or their business. Sometimes they know what tech can do. They don't know how to implement it. And other times they have like a really good starting point, and that's where we get to come in and be a trusted partner and say, great start. Let's take that a couple levels deeper. Are you aware that you can also do this? So that's why it's so much fun. It's truly like putting a puzzle together to see what we can do for our clients.
And Chris, if you're there, we can't see you. We'd love to know if you can hear us. No, that's okay. We're going to keep an eye on the folks in the background. Y'all help me keep an eye on that, Vicki. But I do, to that point, we don't know what's possible, and I'd love to get DJ's thoughts in here. You work at Eldeco, a major construction company. You've been the safety person there for a long time. Tell me about tech and how tech's used, and do you think that there's some ways that y'all could maybe use tech a little more effectively?
Well, I mean, Eldeco is an industrial electrical contractor, design build capabilities. So we are using the tablet devices. We are using, obviously, computers in the office for the design phase. The tablets are utilized all the way out to the field level. The field supervisors use them. They have the construction documents on them. They can pull up their prints. They document their timesheets and so forth. So and that's, and there's tablets and then there's the smart devices. So it's always about communication and making sure that the information is available. From my side and safety, with the construction software that we utilize, I intentionally go build out a safety folder so there's information available to the employee, to the supervisors and the leadership, such as safety data sheets and roof access. Sometimes there has to be a special safety plan, such as roof access or excavation or a lifting and rigging plan, and those plans need to be available rather than clogging up a clipboard, a storage clipboard full of documents. Sometimes I do like I print it out in my hand so I can make notes on it and go back and readjust it. But those, it's a lot of technology. Then you get into some of the equipment. We have Trimble systems that go out and document the locations of things, down to the geographical exact point where they're going to be at. And then that's in the planning side, and then go back and recapture once, if you're doing an underground duct bank, we go back and recapture, this is where it's at, and this is the depth of that. And sometimes there's even technology into the ground, like a foil streamer going out about 2 feet above the duct bank. So whether, if you're using an excavator and it pulls up this big streamer of red or silver tape, and you're like, oh, there's something within 2 feet of it below there that if I hit it, we're going to have what we call spicy dirt. It's not going to be a good day. Okay. So that there's technology, even though a lot of it's got to get installed by grunt work, but we're still using it to design it and track the process, and of course, the day in, day out benefits and payroll and so forth.
Absolutely. I've got to know if Chris can hear us now.
I can hear everybody now.
Right on.
It's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be a
Yeah.
beautiful day. It all works out, and a good business owner knows to stay calm even through technical difficulties.
That's
It
number
happens.
one, right?
Yeah.
Stay calm, move forward.
That's
Well,
right.
We were just kind of going around here. We've got, of course, the benefits with Vicky Watts. We've got safety. DJ works at Eldeco, and he's in the safety world. And then Brendan at Multiply Tech, really able to help all things consulting on tech stack and making sure everything works together seamlessly. So we would love to learn a little bit more about Veterans Landscaping and Construction. You've been at this quite some time, haven't you, Chris?
Yes, sir. Rolling up on right at 19 years when I started Veterans Landscaping out of the military. But just obviously grew the company and went into different avenues. And I saw a hole and I jumped in there. Uh, to make a successful business, you have to find the niche that you're good at. Is what you basically have to do. And I found a niche. And as I continue to grow the company, when I start spending money toward one thing where I'm subbing out a lot, at that point you got to ask yourself, is it worth bringing it in house? So that's what I do. After doing job analysis and finding out where you can cut costs and save money, I think a great entrepreneur takes a look at that and decipher what's their next route. How can we break into the market to make more money? How can we save more money? How can we be more profitable? Which networking with different people makes that just the best thing to do. Which that's what we do. We try to network and bring in different subs and grow our company and offer a basically one-stop shop for our clients. A lot of people don't want to work with 5 contractors. They want to work with one that they can trust.
That's right.
We were talking about what's possible. Brendan was talking about, with tech, sometimes folks don't know what's possible with their tech stack. I'm sure when you go out to a homeowner, expectations as far as what can be built, how much it's going to cost, how long it will take. You do a lot of pools these days. Talk about expectations when it comes to installing pools for folks maybe up in a mountainous area.
Well, there's a few things. When a client brings me in, they already know what they want. They don't know all the details, but they know they want a pool or they want a backyard oasis. They want something. So when they come to me, they want a professional opinion on what I can do. They want you to make their dream come true. So that's when we come in, we take a look at the lay of the land, the access, what we would have to do to meet their budget, and then we come back and we do a 3D rendering, and then we sit back down with the client and we show them what could happen. And then it's come and go. It's back and forth of, I can build you a Honda backyard or I can build you a Lamborghini backyard. That's kind of where it goes. You have to, as a professional, you got to know where you can be to meet the client's budget, but give them their overall goal. So, like you said, in the mountains, the biggest thing is it's a steep hill. You're going to look at retaining walls. You're going to look at hitting rock in the ground, just like as a builder. You're going in there and you're building a house, and next thing you know, you hit rock, and that's just not good when you're trying to set a good, strong foundation. So we have to go in there and we have to bring a bigger machine in and dig that out, which of course that's a change order in the customer's project, which that can be a great expense. So I think it's great to let the client know going into something that this potentially could happen. Not everybody's got $5,000 to $10,000 sitting around, just to throw out there. So you have to take that into effect.
Absolutely. And one of the reasons, I'm not sure if Angel, if you can hear me, nod. Can you hear me? Uh-oh.
I think I can hear everyone besides Chris and Vicky at the moment.
Oh, everybody but Chris and Vicky. And Chris is exactly who I wanted you to hear. So,
My lips are moving and nothing's coming out.
you know, what's interesting, guys, the reason that I brought Angel in here today as a fellow things change through the years, right, Chris? You started
Absolutely.
out, you kind of evolved, you bought more tech equipment, you got more equipment, you started doing bigger jobs, and Angel is on that same path. And one of the things I respect about Chris and like about him, I met him at a networking event where he invited a bunch of what would be competition, other people doing essentially the same thing, because there's a great group of camaraderie between guys that putting buckets in the dirt. Angel, would you speak to that?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we go to networking groups as well. Equipment Exposition in Louisville, Kentucky, and that one's awesome. And I've had the privilege to be on a couple podcasts from those guys, and it's just all a team effort, helping each other grow. It doesn't matter what kind of industry, how can we grow and learn from each other? So that has been great for me, just learning and being able to teach other guys coming up that are, some would say behind me, or I say just starting out. But it's interesting because to everyone, you're a smaller company, but also to everyone, you're a bigger company, if that makes sense from perspective. So
Sure.
it's great to see just another landscaper with that same mentality. You know, when we're out there in the field, try to wave to other companies and talk with them and see if there's any way we can help. If we
Absolutely. I think we heard where he was going.
Right.
Yeah. Anything jump out there, Chris, that you wanted to piggyback what Angel was saying?
Absolutely. I started Upstate Networking actually this year, and I run it out of my shop. Like Daniel said, we have a lot of good business owners that are coming in. I have found when I started my company, it was cutting grass. And obviously, we have grown that to a massive undertaking, and we don't even we don't even cut grass anymore. But the number one thing that I have found out with collaboration instead of competition is to help that person, because at one point you are going to have to cross that bridge and you may need them. So, as I was coming up, I had to learn the hard way. But, my biggest thing now was to the young business owners coming into the field, don't turn those jobs down. Get with somebody like me or somebody that has done that work for a long time and they can trust and they can partner with them. They can do the job with them, help them sell the project. But what that does is that helps everyone. Okay. I have a couple companies that use me. They're much smaller. They're just, getting into business. So they partner up with somebody like me that they can trust. All right. I come in, I help them sell the project. I do the project. I give them a referral fee. But not only that, they get on the job training. So they shadow us as we're doing the project. Okay. And that gives you can't go to tech school and get that. You just can't. Real time work, when you have to face real time issues and how you fix them and change orders on a job site. When you're going into a $150,000-$200,000 backyard project, so much can change on that. I promise you, it's never smooth. It goes in and it changes by the day. I'm on a project right now that is for a younger landscaper. He brought me in just because it was out of his league. He came in and he was like, "Will you help me do the project?" Absolutely. And he will probably use us for a year or 2 years, and then he will move on, and it's okay. That's wonderful. But during that year to 2 years, it brought in income for us. All right. But it also taught him. My biggest thing is there's a lot of smaller companies that start every single year. Okay. And I want, when that other, landscaper goes out, bring another two in. It's okay. I want to train our younger people so they don't have all the hardships that we have. If we can go into the field and start collaborating instead of competition, I promise you, everybody will rise at the same time. Um, that's kind of where I am. Just like Angel said, it's so good to wave to people. Hey, how are you? How can I help you? I get phone calls every single day. Hey, what would you charge for this? How do you go about this? And I like that because it lets me know what I'm doing is something right and it's something good. and I want people to see my company as that.
I love it. I'm gonna get Vicky. Did you have anything that you wanted to add? Please.
I love that Chris said that, because one of my oldest clients that I've had since 2012 came from a couple of agents who did not, they primarily did dental, vision, and life. And that client that they had acquired, they wanted major medical. And so they didn't know how to give that to them, but I ended up running across them and meeting them and help them implement that entire benefits package to bring the rest of the story, so you can solidify your position with that client and make it stronger by partnering and bringing the whole package rather than having it in pieces with a bunch of different people. So we can collaborate together and bring the client the best scenario for what they want by working together. And you don't have to go to the school of hard knocks like I did. I already went to the school of hard knocks, and you did too. So that we have experiential learning that and experience that we can share with somebody and help them. And I love working like that. Bring me your problem. Let's work together to find a solution to serve the client.
DJ, what do you think? Doug?
Yeah, I love the entrepreneurial mindset, and that's the great thing about America. Chris started out cutting grass, and he just built upon that. What we do, we do some collaboration. Eldeco in the past couple of years went under Comfort Systems USA, a division of. And that helped us because it got us a little bit better on a health insurance coverage, some other benefits as well. But also it helped us in terms of, okay, we got more work because the sister companies couldn't handle some of the stuff that they were getting into. They may have been more on a commercial, residential electrical side, and all of a sudden they get a contract for a major industrial operation, manufacturing, major warehouse. And Eldeco's done a lot of those. So we've gone and helped them, and then they've come and backfilled us. It kept us from hiring, going through temp agencies and not knowing what you're getting. So I love what Chris is doing, and what Angel, they're all networking, and it's challenging. You kind of goes against the business mindset in terms of, okay, I'm here for profit, and everybody's technically a competitor, but there's enough work out there for everybody. And you're not going to be able to handle every single household or building that needs landscaping or yard work. I remember several years ago I had a mobile detailing business, and I had to think, there's hundreds of millions of cars out there. I only need a few hundred, if that, to build that. So we've had to, then as far as in the safety side, we call each other. I'll get calls from my coworkers and even some that've been with the company longer. Hey, have you done a plan for this? And yes, I have. Let's walk through it. Or I'll reach out if we're going into working with an industry that we haven't worked before, but I have contacts to say, hey, we're getting ready to go do a food processing facility. Is there something I need to watch out for safety wise? And he says, not, it turned out not to be at first during the initial construction, but as they start adding in production equipment and start doing test runs, then you get into the food safety side of the world and stuff like that. So
it spills over, and this collaboration really works. I want to segue over to Brendan and ask him, as a founder, you're working with your twin brother. Y'all have got a great thing going on, but when you see something like this, collaborate over compete. I'm sure you guys are competitive guys. How do you balance that in a growing business?
Well, I think you put your trust in something bigger than you, right, Daniel? It's hard to get away. You can make it a secular concept, but it's a scriptural concept, right? It's this abundance-based mentality of you give to grow. You can't outgive God. Seed comes back 100% of the time. And I love hearing everyone talking about it. Chris, I love it. I absolutely love it. And I don't think, I think there's so much more that comes back. I've been on both sides of it now that I'm in my mid 30s. Still definitely on the come up, haven't arrived by any stretch, but I've been the beneficiary of people like you, Chris, in the world of tech. And I couldn't be more grateful to them that I learned from them. And then, like you said, like made them a lot of money for a lot of years, made a lot of money and learned a lot of the lessons the hard way on their dime instead of mine. Right. And now I get to own my own agency. And to me, that's one of the greatest indicators of a good leader is that you're producing people that can go multiply, which is part of the reason we called the company Multiply Tech, is because you got to keep the big mission in mind, which is go create abundance and prosperity for everyone and everything you're connected to. And I think that always comes back. It doesn't always look like you thought it would look like. And there's definitely, I think, early stage company, Daniel, like sometimes it's painful when you feel like you've given so much to one person and then maybe they leave and go become a competitor, or like you give so much one place and you're like, man, I'm not seeing the return on that give. But then all of a sudden, like over here, something pops. And it's like, to me, that's where it's like, all right, God, you are who you say you are. It's always coming back. So I love that philosophy, Chris. I mean, and I think there's so much reward that comes in the fulfillment of knowing that you're empowering people to become who they're called to be. Like that is equally, if not more important to any successful entrepreneur than just the financial pieces. Am I stewarding the people that are on my team, my customers, and the people around me? So it's just a philosophy thing of the way of doing business. That's why I love the entrepreneurial spirit. Like you said, DJ, it's the American dream. It's not just what's in it for me. It's like, I get to help people become what they were called to be. Right. And that's a bigger stewardship than just bottom line. So I love it. I mean, it's awesome.
Absolutely. I'm going to time machine you guys for a second and go back in time and want you to visit a time when you were getting started in business. And I'm going to start with Brendan, since we're talking about it. You know, you had a great job. You were working with great people. You had these mentors. You didn't have to start something on your own. How difficult of a decision was that to step over that line and to make that jump and do your own thing?
You know, so I want to be careful how I say this. It wasn't hard at a certain point, right? I mean, I think it's very hard to go from a certain threshold of income to zero sometimes, especially in seasons of, I mean, for us, it was a season of life where, you know, we had a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old girl, a 1-year-old girl, and my wife was 6 months pregnant, and we went from X to zero and didn't get to take any clients with us. But I've had mentors tell me it's not what you believe until it costs you something, right? Like you can say you believe it, but if it doesn't cost you anything, you don't actually believe it. And in that season of life, like, you know, I was in a men's group this morning, and the whole theme was there is no such thing as business ethics. There's just ethics.
Right.
The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And this isn't a targeted statement at anyone necessarily, but like, part of the reason we start companies, I think the common theme among so many Genesis stories is it was birthed out of the frustration in our spirit of knowing we could do it better, or think we could do it better, or do it different. Or, I mean, for me, Chris, it was exactly what you just said. In the tech world, it's exactly what you just described in landscaping. People don't know what they don't know. They just know what they want the end outcome to be. And I wanted a company. My philosophy is prepare people for the journey, even if we lose the project, right? I don't like selling on price. Like I'm not the guy that's going to come in and lowball. You may tell me, hey, my budget's $200,000, but if it's a $300,000 project, I'm not going to tell you it's 200 and line up 100,000 in change requests just to get in there. And then once you're pot committed, present you with the 100,000 in change requests. I'm going to let you know, like, here's what it actually takes to do the job. And if you'd rather go to someone else, then like, we'll be here and at least I can sleep at night. Right. Like I want to be the trusted partner, and like, not everyone chooses to do business that way. I'm not saying it's the only way, and I'm not saying I'm right every time, but for me, Daniel, that's what it was. Like, I wanted to know that like, it was bigger than money. I wanted to be able to build something that I could point my kids to and say, like, this is an extension of our values. So it became very easy at that point because peace is worth way more than profit, right?
Absolutely. And
Absolutely.
you can keep your own integrity. Time machining, Chris, take us back. You made the same decision coming out of the military. You're going to get a mower and start trying to make money cutting grass. Tell me who that person was.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. Honestly, the only reason I even started my company was kind of on accident. I had a good job doing industrial maintenance when I got out of the army. And then when I was in the reserves, so I got a really good job at North Carolina Coal. It was a good company, and they treated me right. But the fact of the matter is, I was young, just got married, had two kids at the time. Um, I'd have time and no money. So when you have time off and no money, it's hard. You don't have money for dates. You can't even get money to barely make your house payment when you're young. You're doing everything you can and you're just getting by. And so I love my yard. So I kept cutting my grass 2, 3 times a week. I was, everybody's raving, "Hey man, you've done a really good job." And I got neighbors asking me, "Hey, will you cut my yard?" So I did it. And I started noticing, hey, that was an extra $45. Well, it was bigger than that. It was actually a date that weekend.
Mhm.
And so the little things happen. So, two customers becomes 4 customers, becomes 8 customers. And that's when your back is up against the wall. Okay. Your back's up against the wall because you go from having time and no money to money and no time. And
Wow.
at that point, when you're starting a company, it's hard. I was putting in 90 to 120 hours a week. I'm not lying. I mean, I would 7 days a week, and was drowning myself, because I said, I got to make it work. So during those, I would say probably 9 years that I worked a full time job and was doing my company to try to get it off the ground. When my daughter was born, that was 10 years ago, and I realized, hey, I'm losing so much time with my family. So I stepped away, and I said, if I have to dip into my savings too much, I can always find another job. Well, I never dipped into my savings. That time that I was investing in that other company, as soon as I was able to invest all of my time into my company, it blew up. I mean, just boom. Um, and God opens doors. That's just how I feel. Um,
Amen.
but
Yeah.
it's always about networking with people, and I've always, was in a networking group, and that actually helped me expand the company as well. So I think a true entrepreneur mindset is once you get into that mindset that I want to open a company for bigger reasons, you're willing to put everything into it. Everything is on the line. And I have come to find out that there's 3 types of employees. You got ones that go above and beyond. I mean, they're there and they're going to do everything they can to help you grow. And then you got some that, they just come for a paycheck. They're not bad employees. They're going to work, they're going to be there every day. And then you've got what I call the medium side, which they're a good employee. They're not going to be the best, but they're definitely not the worst. And I was actually taught that by, my plant manager years ago. And he said, "Chris, you fall in that number one category, which is 2% of people in this company. That doesn't shock me while you're going out on your own." He said, "And if it doesn't work, give me a call. You can always come back." So I did not burn that bridge. I actually went back and worked again with them, and I still do. And that's the thing is I have learned, don't step on toes to get where you're going.
Yeah.
And if you don't step on toes and you build networking with other like-minded, businesses like Alex, like every one of y'all in here, if you do that, anytime they have an issue, they're going to come to you. When you have issue, you can go to them. And I promise you, it's not if, it's when it's going to happen. So yes, I do talk a lot, but the growth in my company is exponential. It's, I mean, we literally in 5 years increased probably by 900%. When I went from I remember when I quit, I had 2 full-time employees to now having close to 40, and it's even been higher and it's been a little lower. But, as you own companies and as you start building a company, you realize sometimes you have to drop back and punt, which
Right.
I have literally had to downsize the company and then raise it back, downsize it and raise it back, you know, to find out what's right. And I think that, and the crazy thing is, what is right now is not going to be right in 5 years. So when you own a company, you have to have that transitional thought on a day-to-day basis, to where I'm going to be in years to come. And you have to make adjustments daily. And I'm sure every one of y'all here know that. It's not a okay, it's worked for 10 years, it's going to work for another 40. It's not, you know. But anyway, that's my train of thought on that.
No, that's great stuff. I'm hoping that Angel, could you hear Chris talking there? I'd love to hear you and your beginnings at ProCuts Lawn Care and your journey.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
I can, yes, sir.
So it's been kind of spotty. I've kind of been partial. Thankfully, I was able to hear Chris that time. I didn't hear Brandon, so I'm not sure what exactly what was said. Do you mind repeating the question?
Yeah, so what we were doing is just taking folks back to the beginning, that decision to start your own thing, the growing pains, and just take us through what you've kind of learned works for you.
So for me, it just started like a dream on paper, and in a jail cell. Grew up in a broken home, was really rough. Or ended up moving to South Carolina from Florida, and was just trying to make it. And I had a previous criminal record. No one would give me a shot at work, and then finally someone did, and they gave me a second chance. I became a supervisor at a higher end moving company, and I just talked with the owner and just learned and grew, and I said maybe I can do this on the side to start. And because I kind of found some of my notebooks I had in jail, and then I realized, like, man, I should just go for it. But I was in between, like, starting a moving company, pressure washing, or landscaping. I already had experience landscaping, had experience moving company, doing that on the side, and then pressure washing, didn't know much about that. And so I just went for landscaping, and I just started out there during COVID about 6 years ago, and went to the library, printed out some free flyers, and just went on every single car I could in the big box stores, every single door, and said, hey, your landscaping is overgrown. Can I clean it up? And just starting to do it with my hands, and invited my mother to join. She already had about 15 years experience running landscape crews in Florida, where we're originally from. So she kind of already had some of the logistics that she could bring to the table as far as my experience bring to the table. And we just developed a team, and we started growing from there, from scratch, from nothing, and started being able to purchase used equipment on Facebook, threw it in my '09 Sentra Nissan, and just went for it. And I still got pictures of equipment hanging out the window. And then eventually we saved up for a trailer, and then was able to use her truck here and there, and then bought her out. And then now it's just my wife and I solely own it 6 years later. So it was definitely, as Chris mentioned, it's a grind, and definitely takes grit and discipline to keep at it, consistency, and just trying to grow from there and making connections. Just going to every free networking group I could, and just shaking hands. And like you said, that term, growing a business from the ground up, is not easy. And it's like you have to get to the point where you're able to bring that business from ground level to eye level, where people can actually see the business and see who you are, see your story, your background. And so we're just continuing to learn and grow right now. But it was rough working at that moving job, and then praying for some kind of different position that has set a set time frame, a set schedule. And then that was able to happen. Then I was able to do more than just weekends and evenings. I went part-time on that company, and then I was delivering food on the side also, so I can pay off debt. So it was just a rough few years. Didn't have a life. Same thing. What I echo what Chris was saying, and you have a lot of time, you don't have a lot of money, so you're just out there doing what you can. And then when you have I guess when you start growing and get more money, it's like your time limits, it's stretched. So it's really trying to have a balance and between family and life and all that. But it was definitely rough. It was a journey. It was a struggle. But just gradually going part-time, and then getting out there and saying, okay, this is bigger picture. I'm about to get married. I'm about to start a family. Like, it's time to really get out there and make it happen. And I didn't even know this was possible for someone like me, coming from my area, my lifestyle, my family and brokenness, and thankful King Jesus was able to start something there and continue to keep me strong through the process. So here we are. I'm just grateful to be here and to be on this panel, learn from you guys. And so yeah, we're just still trying to grow and learn. And same thing what Chris said, we had bigger team and we had to slow down and do cutbacks and really reevaluate and start over and see what systems broke, how can improve, and things like that. So
Woo! This is what it takes. You know, we talk about a time machine. We talk about someone going back, and everybody has a journey, but real change, the kind of change that Angel went through, that takes something. You got to really, you're going from here to here, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of good people to help you out. And you just never give up. I love that story. Does anybody have any comments that wants to jump in and comment on that?
I just kind of want to say, proud of you, man.
Yeah.
thank you.
You know, to make a change like that, I've seen that, you know, very seldomly go good. As guess I say that, you know, my father was on drugs growing up, and it took him at a young age. And I've had a lot of employees in my field that come in, and I try to help them, and they just can't break it.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just want to say first and foremost, proud of you for that, because being able to transition from where you were to where you are is something that you, alone you should sleep good at night for.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you. A lot of blood, sweat, hard work, and tears, literally. And just being able to share that with other guys, provide a company where guys can work coming off the street or convicted felon, whatever it may be. I was involved with drugs, like selling drugs, gang life, that kind of stuff. And really had a hard heart. But when God was able to change that, now it's awesome to see, to be able to help other guys come off the street, teach them leadership development, and just really work with them and being able to pray with them. And we've been able to baptize a couple team members and see them grow and being able to get their vehicle and get their first place and then even move on to another company. So whether they continue to grow with us or the next company, that's all we want to see. So we've seen some people, like you mentioned, that don't work out, and then some, they really grow and they really fly, and it's amazing to see that.
Well, it's inspiring for me. I love hearing that story. I love the turnaround story, and I just love the synergy of it all. We've got about 12 minutes here, and this is something that I wanted to do. I think that sometimes it's nice to do this. Magic wand your business, right? There's something about your business that maybe you don't really, if you could change this, and man, if we could just get to this, if we could bridge this, and maybe there's something that DJ's thinking about. DJ's got a new safety project that he's excited about, but there's all things that we can do to kind of magic wand the situation. So I'm gonna start with Angel. Angel, is there in your business, we go 6 months, a year down the road, what problems have I solved? How have I learned to magic wand my business? What needs to change to make it an incredible place to work?
I think for right now, the biggest thing is training, allowing other guys with not as much experience being able to come in and learn and grow and actually get a lot of stuff out of my head, out of my heart on paper. So that way there's an actual system to follow for these guys when they come in, and just building a team and a culture and building a place where people want to stay, where individuals want to come to work and they feel valued, they feel appreciated. In the beginning, I didn't really know anything about that, was just paying people cash. Now we have, the payroll system and bonuses, and they're able to get tips through systems. And so just trying to learn that aspect and like just bring a great team. Boom, snap of fingers, here we go, this is culture. I've had more guys, couple jobs going on at the same time. It was just chaos. And so really getting a team member handbook in place and different policies has helped us. Like, this is what you're responsible for, this is your duties, this is what we do on these certain days, morning meetings, morning prayers. And so it would be for us just a great team, a great culture.
Brandon, Multiply Tech, magic wand your business.
Well, I love that, Angel. It's great hearing more of your story too. for us, Daniel, we're right at that
Oh,
point where
I can't hear.
can the rest of y'all hear me? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Three
I
lips.
can.
So
Three lips.
I was just saying for where we're at right now, we feel like I was joking with the ladies last night. The ladies as in our wives. I said, we got some really good things rolling. And they're like, what's the difference? And they've also heard me say, like, we're on the journey to the machine is humming. And they're like, what's the difference between rolling and humming? And I was like, rolling implies that there's a significant amount of effort still. And you're kind of going uphill a little bit. It's moving, but you don't have the full momentum of the machine yet.
I love that.
And for us, Daniel, it's just that blend of a couple more deals close, and it allows us to add the next level of scale with people. And then, I think you hit those break points in business. And I saw this at the previous agency, Chris, kind of back to what you mentioned, like the benefit of seeing bigger companies on their journey. There's break points in every business. We're just at a critical break point right now where we know what we need next. It's a team member that's going to be, instead of a contractor, it's going to be that full-time person that can bridge a few gaps, give us a little bit more of our life back to be strategic. So we're just excited to move some of those deals from verbal commitments to locked in, and then again to make sure we hire the next right person that can come give us a little bit more time back to stay strategic, and kind of like that strategic mode instead of just the operational bucket. So
Absolutely. I love it. I'm going to get Chris to Magic Wand his business, and then I'm going to get DJ and Vicky to comment here as we close out on what we've heard. Magic Wand your business. What would you like to see, Chris?
I'll tell you what I would like to see. As I continue to grow the company, the number one thing that I have truly learned is to make sure you bring people in that can hold up to their end of the bargain, their deal, where when you pay somebody to do a job that they absolutely do it. Which I just got asked this the other day, Chris, how do you run multiple different businesses? How? Well, how do I do it? I bring in the right individuals. Okay. That's where most companies fail. Because I'm going to be honest with you, to have a great employee that knows what's going on, you have to pay them. I'm seeing a market where people are underpaying individuals to do their job. Then they get upset when it's not done correctly. For me, I want to continue to grow the company, but bring in the right individuals, and hold them accountable. Job analysis. It's a huge thing. Analyze every single project that you are on, smallest, biggest, middle. I don't care. Analyze everything. Analyze the individual. I'm looking right now at bringing in somebody to start doing manager growth counseling. Just how do we handle each other? Because I promise you, as you continue to grow a company and the bigger you are, you're going to have issues, and you're going to have issues inside that team. And that doesn't mean that it's a broken team. It just means it has to be, where one person can be really good at, somebody else may not be. And it just kind of like I talked about earlier about collaboration instead of competition, that absolutely happens inside the team. So I believe for me, my magic wand is building the right team and sustaining that team. That's my number one thing that I want is when there is a problem, let's fix it. Let's get ahead of it, and let's, keep that growing. And I believe if you make that your center of focus and positivity, growth will come.
Absolutely. I thought it was interesting. You talked about different types of employees. Angel told us what kind of employee he was before he started off on his own. He took ownership of that role, and that's a sign of somebody that can handle it. Hey, I wanted to talk more to Vicky and DJ, but man, these guys had so much good things to say. I would love for y'all to kind of comment as we close out on what you heard and what you're going to take away from this discussion, starting with DJ, please.
I love what Angel said about culture, building a strong culture. Chris, what he says about building a strong team. And from my safety aspect, at the end of the day, I want everybody to go home the same way they came to work.
Absolutely.
Maybe just a little tired, maybe a little dirty given your line of work. But other than that, they all go home with the original blood volume and original body parts they came to work with.
Yeah.
That's the win.
A
Yes.
big deal, a big deal. Hey, we've talked about it. We're going to talk about it more. The safety is such a big deal because we talk about culture and we talk about people. We got to protect them. They got to go home with all their fingers and toes. Vicki Watts, what do you think of today's hub?
I thought it was fantastic. You never know where church is going to break out with the right people in the room. So
That's right.
it's been really wonderful to hear that. And I think that multiple times I heard, which is something that's very near and dear to my heart, which is a collective genius. If you're going to be in business, you are creating a collective genius. And Chris said, don't burn bridges. I'm not about burning bridges. You never know when you need to cross back that way again. So I believe in building relationships. And so I heard a lot of that today, building relationships, culture. If you've got a great culture and you had it on or you created it on accident, or it just naturally occurred because you had some great people, you have to be intentional about keeping that, because just one bad apple can spoil the whole bunch, kind of thing. So
Yes.
it's very important to have a collective genius. And I think a lot of times companies, they think they have to hire an individual. I'm sitting here with Brendan, and Brendan and I both show up fractionally for companies sometimes. And there's a lot of companies out there, small businesses especially, that think they have to hire somebody at a full salary to come in and take a position in their company and pay tax on them and payroll tax and everything else, when there are fractional people who can help you with the things that you need. So I think it's important to know that we're out there and that we can support you. But what did I take away today? Don't let your attitude get in the way of your gratitude. Be grateful every day. Realize that you are not today where you will be, and to not get so consumed by where you want to go that you fail to operate in the now. We can set our sights on a bigger vision, but anyway, I went to a women in manufacturing conference. A client of mine is a women-owned manufacturing company, and she had a table. She invited me to come, and I was so impressed of where all these companies had started out and never realized where it was that they were going to get, like 150 years of innovation. And you're like, wow, they stumbled on something. They stumbled there. They had to correct, and that helped them grow. So if you're at a stumbling point in your business, bring in your collective genius, your trusted advisors, and realize that that is a growth opportunity, and you're going to discover something in that place that's going to help you grow to that next step. So don't beat yourself up for where you are, that you're not where you want to be, and just focus on that growth and keeping our attitude out of the way of our gratitude.
I love it. I love it. And you know what? That puts a nice exclamation mark on the Energy Hub. And I tell you what, Chris, I'm going to put the details of your networking event, which is next Wednesday. Is that correct?
Yes,
Are we
sir.
still on? Okay, so I'm going to put that in the comments of this live stream there on LinkedIn. It's going to some other stuff too. Freddie Blanton was supposed to be here. You know Freddie, don't you, Chris?
Yes, sir, I do.
And so he's not here, but it's playing on his Facebook as well. But hey, enjoyed this. Vicki, DJ, Brendan, Chris, Angel, thank you so much. We'll see you next time in the
Thank you for
hub.
having us.
Have a great week,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Great to meet you
Y'all
guys.
have a great week.
Nice meeting you.
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Daniel.